Hello, hello. Welcome back to Sunday Soul Transmissions. If this is your first time meeting me, my name is Tando and I am a writer. I'm a spiritualist, I'm a multi-dimensional being, so to speak. I do have a blog called confessionsofalibra.com, and on Sundays I read one of my many works just so you can get a feel. So you can also go and read and participate in my community building. Now, the way that I choose what to read is by divining. I ask Spirit what I should talk about, which of my blog posts, or what the theme should be. Today, we're going to be reading The Philosophy of Foreplay. So we're moving on from my normal sort of sensual, erotic, creative writing into more of an opinion piece. Okay? Settle in, get your teas going. I'm reading from over here. Alright. When you rush pleasure, you are committing a sin against it. I'm not talking the occasional quickie. I'm talking if your modus operandi involves just rushing into penetration, getting your rocks off, and then going on your phone. If you want to have the hottest sex of your life, you need to learn how to tantalize the senses before anyone even thinks the word bedroom. This is why men don't see how erotic it is to do the dishes without being asked, or to offer a massage without being prompted. Think of pleasure as a piggy bank. You have to learn to make good deposits if you want a fat pig by the end. If you're wondering how to make someone feel so safe as to unravel in your arms, or to ask you that thing that you mentioned that one time, then consider shifting the way that you think about foreplay entirely. Let me guide you through this. Fostering intimacy is the cornerstone of emotional safety. You want your partner to be able to relax and divulge anything to you. One of my favorite ways to build up foreplay and intimacy is foregoing my phone. Normally, if I'm with a person who I desire, I forget my phone even exists. I'll sit with my entire body facing you. I want to watch the cogs turning when I ask you a question and before the answer spills from your mouth. I want to be able to observe when your Adam's apple bobs or when your chest heaves from your shortened breath. I love weaponizing my eyes during conversation. I play with looking at you in different ways to see how you respond in real time. I try and undress you with my eyes, if you let me. There's another element to foreplay that lives in tension. It doesn't have to be anything scary or crazy. So while I'm burning a hole through you with my gaze, I want you to fight the feeling for as long as humanly possible. How much can you restrain? How much can we circle the point? My favorite game lies in coaxing the other to give in first. There is endless, ruinous pleasure in the pursuit, and it works best when everyone participates. Before we get to touch, there might be other moments, dear reader, that you might not realize are sexual lifelines. When I am looking into your eyes full of desire and I ask you to get me a glass of water, I am testing your obedience. I am testing your willingness to please. For why should you enter my temple if you are unwilling to have discipline? You cannot access me without offerings, and you making the environment comfortable for me while I luxuriate is part of the foreplay. Scorpio lovers are really well attuned to this whole dynamic from start to finish. It doesn't even need to be named. Verbal sparring cannot be underestimated. If this is something you struggle with, then there is no shame in studying dialogue from your favorite sexy material. If you are a person of few words, that's fine, but make those words potent. You don't have to recite a monologue, but learning to drop the right words at the right time with the right tone, revolutionary. Asking your intimate partner what words they like versus what words give them the ick is a great place to start your homework before you implement anything. Think of talking as social lubricant. You don't have to rely on substances for social lubrication. You can instead be open that you want to try something new and allow the other person to hold space for your awkward periods. I have a Virgo Mercury in the 12th house, so if you speak to me during the act, I want it to be specific and dreamy. You can get away with flowery language where I'm concerned. Bring out your inner Romeo. Check your placements in your partnerships and discuss how it impacts the sex you're already having. Foreplay manipulates time. Time manipulation is equivalent to sensuality. Learning to be more sensual is learning a different kind of intelligence. In my writing, you'll notice, I mention a lot of bodily cues. I can tell when someone's body is opening up to me. You can only gain that level of attentiveness by not rushing and falling in love with the noticing. If I was in love with you, I would count all your freckles, birthmarks, and beauty spots. Savoring the pleasure is the height of pleasure. The orgasm is a delicious cherry on top, especially when there is genuine commitment and communication to arrive there together. Spirit wants you to slow down and enjoy your eroticism. There is no reward for getting to your pleasure the quickest. The longer the anticipation, the more sacred the climax. The more deposits you have made in the piggy bank, the more you have shown source through your partner that you are willing to work for divinity, not manhandle it into submission. Women need coaxing and courting. It's just not negotiable. Men who date me show up as the best version of themselves, and they know I need to be courted. The inner priestess in me refuses to accept anyone at my temple walls without some bleeding honesty. Part of the coaxing and courting comes consent. It is non-negotiable, and it's better to overuse than to underuse. Consent is sexy, as illustrated in my blog post, Ask Again. You don't get great sex when someone is half present in their own body. When you rush someone or you receive murky consent, as opposed to enthusiastic consent, you have forfeited the right to earth-shattering pleasure. Know that any pleasure you have extracted in this instance is a stolen moment, a stolen memory that will never satisfy you the way pure safety in sex will. Remember the ledger. Foreplay can and should be ritualistic, preparing the mind and body through ritual, anointing your skin, having decadent baths, incense or candles, feathers and grounding touch. Even starting by breathing together, hands on each other's hearts, coming into the body should be done by any participant, gender inclusive. When you start foreplay, you can start practicing the breathing that will elevate your experience during penetration. Breathing can help give you more enjoyable, explosive orgasms. We normally suppress it by tensing because it feels more appropriate. The safer you are, the less you're tensing as a reflex. The more you're tensing can be fun or strategic. Having regular self-pleasure intentionally can also heighten your pleasure with another, especially if your solo sessions are invoking more self-love, connecting to the energy of a sigil or deity like Oshun, and are a return home and not an escape. Erotic intelligence comes from seeing the erotic as intrinsic and not extrinsic of life. Many things that you do outside of sex can be brought into the bedroom and giving a new erotic life. Just because you tried something you watched in porn and it felt awkward the first time doesn't make that thing any less erotic. You are allowed to grow into pleasure. You don't have to have everything right away when you try it. You need to realize you look cute when you're fumbling around. Normally, someone who is your emotional or sexual partner should be looking at you with reverence. Your stutter or your queef shouldn't derail the pleasure at hand. Stay sexy, keep sex consensual, and talk to your partner about foreplay today. I hope that was illuminating. Please feel free to check out my blog. If you do happen to hop over and you like what you read, you like what you see, then I would like you to consider subscribing to the blog. I would like you to consider commenting, because that's how I know what you like and what you don't like. I also want to build community. I hate the idea of being seen as a guru. I'm more for reciprocal energy. So anytime you like my blog posts, comment, if you end up choosing to donate to my PayPal, these are all energetic exchanges for me, and that helps, and that makes me feel good, and then that helps me help you, and it's just like a beautiful circle. I don't want you to be looking up at me. I want us to be looking at each other and communing and conversing in a circle. I hope that helps. I just saw 12:12 on the clock. I will see you next Sunday. Goodbye.